In Minnesota, the Brooklyn Center police officer who shot and killed 20-year-old Daunte Wright during a traffic stop Sunday has been arrested on a charge of second-degree manslaughter. If convicted, Kimberly Potter faces up to 10 years in prison and a $20,000 fine. Potter was released from jail after posting a $100,000 bond. Body cam video footage shows Potter pointing her 9mm pistol at Wright, repeatedly shouting, "Taser," before firing a single bullet into Wright's chest. The taser remained holstered beside her non-dominant hand. The weapon is a bright yellow color and has a different grip. Potter is a 26-year police veteran who was training other officers when she shot Wright. She'll be charged in Washington County, east of the Twin Cities. Hennepin County prosecutor Mike Freeman said the change in jurisdiction was to avoid any appearance of a conflict of interest. For a fourth straight night, protesters surrounded the Brooklyn Center Police Department demanding justice. Police fired tear gas, rubber bullets, stun grenades, and pepper spray at protesters, once again violating a prohibition on the use of such force passed by the City Council Monday. The Minnesota State Patrol said 24 people were arrested overnight. A few miles south of Brooklyn Center, the murder trial of Derek Chauvin. A forensic pathologist called by Chauvin's lawyers testified George Floyd died of heart trouble rather than a lack of oxygen. Dr. David Fowler, the former chief medical examiner for the state of Maryland, dismissed an official autopsy report that found Floyd died of cardiopulmonary arrest due to restraint and neck compression. Video of Floyd's death shows Chauvin kneeling on Floyd's neck for over 9 minutes, including for several minutes after Floyd stopped responding. But Dr. Fowler claimed Floyd died from a combination of heart disease, drug use, and tailpipe emissions from the police cruiser.
There is exposure to a vehicle exhaust, so potentially carbon monoxide poisoning.
Under cross-examination, Dr. Fowler admitted there was no evidence of carbon monoxide in George Floyd's blood. He also conceded George Floyd should have been given medical attention and might have survived if officers had rendered aid. Dr. Fowler is being sued by the family of 19-year-old Anton Black, an African-American teenager from Maryland who died in 2018 after he was electrocuted with a taser, pinned in a prone position, and crushed under the weight of 3 white police officers and a white civilian as he struggled to breathe and lost consciousness. Black died on the front porch of his mother's home as she was forced to stand by watching.
It was a body-worn camera that basically revealed what happened to him. One of the officers, who was morbidly obese, actually put his entire weight on top of Anton, who was 160 pounds. Anton was lying face down on an incline, which is actually a wheelchair ramp. And you could even hear on the body-worn camera that some of the other officers on the scene was telling the chief to shift his weight, and he did not.
All right, got one cuff. Okay, hold on. All right, roll over, chief. Hold on, let me get it. Yep.
The medical examiner tried to say that it was a pre-existing heart condition that caused Anton's death, and says interaction with law enforcement officers contributed. But we actually have independent reports from other pathologists that says that Anton died from what is called positional asphyxiation. Now, they basically smothered him to death.
The wrongful death lawsuit says Dr. Fowler delayed release of an autopsy report for months and covered up police responsibility for Black's death. Black's sister, LaToya Holly, said this week, quote, "It's surreal that you have two men on the opposite sides of the country that experienced almost the same treatment by two different police officers. The medical examiner, in my opinion, was egregious in the way he finalized Anton's autopsy results. Now he's being called to be an expert witness for another police officer," she said.